Hello friends, this video on System of Particles and Rotational Motion Part 26 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So now let us look at the theorem of parallel axis. So this theorem is applicable. So contrary to the theorem of perpendicular axis, which is applicable only to planar bodies, this theorem is applicable to bodies of any shape. So it states that the moment of inertia of a body about any axis is equal to the sum of the moment of inertia of the body about a parallel axis passing through its center of mass and the product of its mass and square of the distance between the two parallel axes. So that means, let us suppose if this is the axis, this Z is the axis which is passing through the center of mass, then we can say that the moment of inertia about another axis which is parallel to this axis is equal to, so we can say that Iz dash is equal to the moment of inertia about the parallel axis which is passing through the center of mass plus mass into a square, where a is the distance between the two axes. So this is the distance between the parallel axis. That means these two axes are parallel. Correct? So that is why this is known as theorem of parallel axis. That means the moment of inertia about any axis is equal to the moment of inertia about a parallel axis which is passing through the center of mass plus m into a square, where a is the distance between the two parallel axes. Right? So now let us look at the proof of the theorem of parallel axis. So this also we will try to prove in a similar way as we did for the theorem of perpendicular axis. So let us suppose we have any rigid body. So let us say this is the axis which passes through the center of mass of the object. So let us call this axis as the Z axis. There is another parallel axis which is denoted by Z dash. Okay, the distance between the two axes is given as d. So what will be the moment of inertia about this axis Z dash? Now let us consider any point inside, any point of the body. Let us say we consider any point P. So what would be the position vector of the point P from Z? If we take it from this point, similarly, what would be the position vector of the point P from Z dash if we join it to this point, right? So now let us try to calculate the moment of inertia about Z dash axis. Now as per definition, this will be summation of mi into ri square. So what is ri? Ri is nothing but distance from Z dash square. So let us call this point as d. So this will be pd square, right? So this will be equal to summation of mi, and what is pd square? Now this point P has coordinates x, I, y, I, z, I. This point D has coordinates x, I will be equal to d because this distance is small d. So the x becomes d. What is y? Y is equal to 0 and z is equal to z. Right? So this PD becomes equal to xi minus d whole square plus yi minus 0 whole square plus zi minus zi whole square. So this becomes equal to summation of mi xi square plus d square minus 2xid plus yi square. So this becomes equal to summation of mi xi square plus yi square plus summation of mi d square minus 2d into summation of mi xi. Now summation of mi xi. What is summation of mi xi? It is nothing but capital M, because summation of m is capital M, and summation of mi xi is nothing but m x center of mass, which is equal to 0. Now Iz about Cz. So what is Iz? It is nothing but summation of mi p f. Let us call this as f. So this is pf square. So what is this f? The coordinates of f is given as 0, 0, z. So this will be equal to summation of mi into xi minus 0 whole square plus yi minus 0 whole square plus zi minus zi whole square. So this is equal to summation of mi xi square plus yi square. So this is my equation 2 and this was my equation 1. So this was equal to iz dash. So we see that the first term in this equation is nothing but what we obtained in the second equation. Therefore from equation 1 and 2 we can say that iz dash. So let us write it here. So from equation 1 and equation 2 we can say that iz dash is equal to iz plus summation of mi d square. Right, because the third term became equal to 0 from here. So this term became 0, this term became equal to iz, and this term is nothing but summation of mi into d square. So summation of mi is nothing but capital M. So this is how the theorem of parallel axis was also proved. Let us look at an example which will make things clearer. Let us suppose we have to calculate the moment of inertia of a solid cylinder about a line parallel to the cylinder axis and on the surface of the cylinder. So that means it would look something like this. Let us suppose if you have a cylinder like this. So we have to calculate the axis of the cylinder is this one. So we have, let us call this axis as z. So we have to calculate the moment of inertia about a line parallel to the cylinder axis and on the surface of the cylinder. That means this is my axis. So it is parallel to this axis and also it is lying on the surface of the cylinder. So now we know that Iz, what is the moment of inertia of a solid cylinder? For about its axis, Iz is equal to mr square by 2. We derived it in one of our previous slides. Now as per this theorem, we can say that Iz dash is equal to Iz plus m into a square, where a is the distance between these two axes. Now what is the distance between these two axes? The radius of the cylinder, that is mr square. So this is equal to mr square by 2 plus mr square. So this is equal to 3 by 2 mr square. So now you can see that how these theorems of parallel axis and perpendicular axis become very useful in calculating the moment of inertia about different axes of different bodies. Right? Okay.
Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.